Tiffany Grant, and I played Riku.
Hi, I'm Hilary Haag, and I play Sora.
Hi, I'm Vincent-Davis, and I play Akira.
Hi, I'm Monica Rial.
I play Al.
Wow, those voices are so different from your speaking voices. How do you alter your voice to make them?
Well, I think after a while it just sort of becomes a second nature. It becomes a spontaneous thing. You kind of don't think about it after a while.
I agree with Kira. I think once you've done it like hundreds of times, you look at the character and a voice just kind of comes to mind and you sort of play around until you get to the right one. Sometimes pitching your voice up, sometimes pitching it down.
Sometimes the director has an idea of what he wants, and then that way he can kind of help, or she, can help kind of keep you along the right track.
I think for me, the easiest way to find the character is to watch them a little bit, and then I kind of take on the body language of the character, and I can get more into it and feel like I really am that character.
And I think that when you're trying to find a voice, that a lot of times what helps me is the diction of the character. Like each character has a different speech pattern. And Matt said early on that like Umi has sort of a standard or formal way of speaking. So I kind of imagined her as a little blonde businesswoman, you know, kind of, and it informed the way that she spoke. So.
Monica, the character that you play doesn't actually speak at all. What were the particular challenges of doing a character that can't speak?
When Matt first told me about Girrl Power, he told me that he had the perfect role for me, and she was the deaf mute. But then Marta scheduled me, so I knew that I was going to be doing some kind of noises. When I came in, I thought it was hilarious. You wouldn't think it would be hard, but it is. When you're trying to say something without really saying it, if that makes any sense. So, like, the girls are saying, "Hi, welcome to our place," and I'm like, and you have to make it not sound like words. And there was a couple of times where, like, Jason, the engineer, had to stop me because it sounded like I was going, howdy ho. I was like, I can't do that. So, but it's really challenging. In fact, since we recorded the episode of Girrl Power, I've been running around going, and trying to figure out, like, how you would do it. But it was very challenging. And I want to know, you know, why I'm so loud and I keep getting cast as quiet, deaf, mute girl. I think Matt doesn't like my voice. Yay!
Tiffany and Kira, the characters you play are boys, and Luci and Hilary have played boys as well. What are the challenges involved in playing someone of the opposite sex?
Well, I think particularly sometimes it gets difficult when you have an emotion, you have emotional inflections, you have to cry, you have to scream. Any sort of emotion like that, for some reason, sort of like your voice can go up in pitch, and you know, that's too femme. We have to do that again.
Right. I find that as a challenge
have you
also.
heard that?
Yeah, yeah. With the speaking and everything, I don't usually have a problem. I've done a lot of different kinds of boy voices, but if there's like screaming or crying, if it gets really emotional
Or quiet, even
or very,
sometimes.
yeah, then some there are some challenges to keeping it in the voice and making it not sound girly. I guess it's kind of in the top. I feel like it's more like in the top of my mouth somehow. Like, I don't really think about how I'm doing
I don't really
it.
think about it.
I think when I've done boys, I always do it towards the back of my throat.
It kind of
but
feels
then
like
I sound
it
like a
does
frog, so that's why I don't usually get to do boys.
some gender neutral trolls though.
Right, gender neutral trolls, yeah. But whenever I've tried to do a boy, I never did very well because they're always like, "You sound like a girl." Well, I am.
Hello.
You are, oh my gosh, you are. Wow.
That's my problem, too. It's hard to mask the girliness.
I admire you two. Y'all both sound great.
you do.
Thank you.
Y'all are fabulous.
We kind of have gotten stuck in that. And in fact, I think that Kira pointed out that this may be the first show that we've ever both played a boy.
together, yeah.
Because usually it's just like one of us.
Right, like you were in Goemon, and I had Nuku Nuku and Karumi, and...
Yeah, something that I found really interesting when doing Magical Shopping Arcade Abenobashi and being Sashi, which is a real mouthful of that, was that it's really hard, just as there are different kinds of, there are more cartoony roles and there are less cartoony, and there are more realistic, that Dawn on that show really wanted Sashi to be very straight and to play a straight little boy is hard. That was really hard.
Right,
To
without
shoot
making
for
it sound
authenticity.
comical.
The more cartoony it is, the easier that it is, somehow.
Right.
Sound like a boy.
I agree.
Yeah, to sound like a boy.
Good point.
Another thing that this show is heavy on is what we call vocal foley. That is to say, the practice of making sounds with your mouth to create the effect that your character is interacting with the environment. How do you approach that?
I think it takes years and years of practice, or maybe years of stumping your toe, or tripping over your own feet. I tend to be a little clumsy, so I think I pull from my personal experience. See, hence the burned finger. You can imagine the foley that came out of my mouth.
Absolutely.
You know, it's funny you should say that, though, because actually when people write me and ask, well, how do I become a voice actor? One of the things I tell them, half jokingly, is pay attention to the noises you make when you fall down, when you sit down, when you're tired, when you're running upstairs, because you really use those. I mean, I make some atrocious noises at the gym that I've actually used in real life, and it's kind of ew, but fun.
Definitely you need to be very aware of all of the sounds that you make, and I think since I started doing this that I'm incredibly aware of not just, all those little sounds that I make or other people, like I pay attention and hear that, I could use that later. Or also, you were saying earlier, Hilary, about being physicalizing the characters, and that really helps a lot with the Foley sounds that you're making. I think that you're kind of enacting what the character's doing. You're like carrying out the same motions. I know I was doing something last night, and my character was supposed to be like hitting someone, and the director said that it didn't sound right. Well, I was kind of standing there with my arms hanging down, but then when I did the next take and I pushed my arms like I was hitting someone, they were like, okay, yeah, that sounded good. So a lot of it is physicalizing, I think.
I know another show that we did that was very physical was Princess Nine. I think I threw my shoulder out trying to make those pitching noises over and over again. We even had a wad of, I guess they were rubber bands in the booth, or no, the squeezy ball.
It was a squeezy ball.
And it was so gross, I didn't want to touch it, but it helped you get those noises in there that you
Or the
needed.
scripts, the
Yeah, the
roll-up
props.
scripts that we used for a bat.
I'm glad to know I wasn't the only one using them.
So you guys have all been doing this. We've all been doing it a while. Have you noticed that you start to give yourself Foley?
All the
Oh,
time.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I do
I
it all
shut the door.
time. Yeah. Or you sit down and you're like,
Yes.
sometimes I feel like such a dork.
Yeah, like every time you have a head turn, suddenly it's like, huh? Or,
What? Right.
One thing that I like is the nonsensical noises too, the ones that don't make any sense, like where the scene in the show where my character's in the background with the mom and they're all like, things like that. I like those
Right.
too. You don't normally make those sounds in real life, and
I do. In my car.
sometimes, yeah, but,
Yeah.
I like those.
Now that you've all had a chance to see the rough cut, what's something about your character that you'd like to see explored in future episodes?
I think the thing that I would like to see happen with my character, should there be any future episodes of Girrl Power, is that he returns. That is the primary thing, since he's not so likely to return since they've successfully completed their job and got him to go back to school. But, there's possibilities that he could come back. Maybe he decides that he wants to start his own competing business. I think that would be really funny. It could be something like that. He's got the computer. He's really into the computer thing. Maybe he starts a business doing that, and somehow that will involve the Urukaya? What is it? The three Girls coming back and, whatever. Okay. That's great. I want him to come back.
I think as far as Sora goes, I would really like to see the relationship with the old man and all the girls, because I have a feeling he's like related to the parents, or trying to figure out what's going on there with that whole Charlie's Angels, Charlie thing. I think there's more to it. Sorry, burn finger. There's more to it.
Good answer.
I think for Umi, we were all talking about how we like the fact that she's doing leg lifts in one of those scenes there at the end. So maybe she comes out with her own line of exercise videos, gives Denise Austin a run for her money. I like how she's the organizer, appointment book keeper of the group. So I don't know, maybe she grows that into a little conglomerate in order to buy the island. Now that Martha Stewart's gone, Kevin Umi Living opening for CEO.
maybe?
Al, I'd like to see her start her own Shakespearean acting company. Can't you imagine? That would be so cute. Like, no, seriously. I'd like to see the relationship with the three girls developed. They don't look like sisters. That doesn't mean that they can't be sisters. I know that it's insinuated they're sisters, but I'd like to find out more about that. And the old man, too, yeah, because he's, like, sticking around continuously. And Akira, too. I want to find out, like, what the deal is with him and why he's so concerned about them going to school. But hopefully it'll continue. Yay!
Yeah, I guess what she said, I'd like to figure out why he's so interested in having the girls go to school. I think he probably has a crush on some of them or all of them or one of them or something. And I personally, I know this probably wouldn't happen, but I'd like to see him just kind of go a little corrupt and, you know, just kind of, you know, he's a real nerd, you know, he's, I'd like to see him get a little, you know, I'd like to see him corrupted just a bit.
I'd like to see him get some, no.
Oh, well, this is a children's show.
He's a little too pro-school, like you would Hilary. He'd like to get some less schoolwork.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot.
Free time.
It just took me there. 3 girls, 1 guy.
Can this be on the adult
answer that
outtake?
again. I think I have a more coherent sentence here, so I'll answer it again.
He could become their boss.
Oh, no, that's fine.
No? Okay.
Thank you.